Hello, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. My name is Ray,
My name's MJ.
and today we will be talking about season 3, episode 12, predictions for the Penthouse.
Yep. Now let's get into it. So let's talk about what happened towards the end of episode 11 first. Chosejin most likely died.
Yes.
Yeah, so it seems like we have her death scene. Um, she seemed like she was out of it. She wasn't stable. She
Mhm.
was running around Hair Palace.
I think the medication finally got to her.
hmm
Um,
Yeah, she was trying to find Umgyo, and we saw that she thought Verona was Umgyo, and she was trying to take her away when it got out of hand, and she fell, and a chandelier fell on her.
yes.
Quite a tragic death scene.
Yes. I did not expect her to die this way.
Mm, I understand she's a villain, but this was harsh. Seeing her die this way, especially her spit up blood, and it's just that was gruesome to watch. Yeah.
Truly. Um, and I I think we can confirm she's dead.
hmm I mean, a
There's
heavy chandelier fell on her. She blew, like coughed out blood. She's
probably internal
probably
bleeding.
right. So I think she is 99.9%
Mhm.
sure that she's dead.
Even for Penthouse, this is the confirmation.
Right. And then we also see Dr. Ha. He took two blows to the head, one while he was still on top of the staircase, and the second one as he fell down trying to protect Verona. I want to say he's dead too, because he's also bleeding from his head. And I mean, obviously, your skull, your brain, very important and sensitive organ. So it seems like he's dead. But again, with Penthouse, we can never be too sure.
Mhm.
He might come back alive.
And there, Verona was, as you mentioned, was also involved in the incident. I think she's going to stay alive, and I actually do think that Dr. Ha will be alive too. I think because if both the parents, Dr. Ha and Chol Soo-jin dies, I think Ingo will ultimately put it all on Verona because she was the last one there, so she's not going to
Mm,
believe anything she says. Um, and maybe that's what they want. That's what the writers want for them to go head to
maybe.
head again. But I don't know. I think they're going to keep these two alive just to tell her story, just to tell Chol Soo-jin's story.
I think that both her parents are going to die. And I think Umbil is going to blame Verona for both their deaths. One, especially for Dr. Hogg, she's going to be like, my father died trying to protect you, his second daughter.
Mm,
So she's probably going to say that. And then for Cho So Jin, she's probably going to be like, my mother was looking for me and you didn't even cooperate. You could see she wasn't in her right state of mind. Or maybe Eunyo will herself feel guilty because she gave her
mm.
mother the medication.
She also led her to her death. Yeah.
Yeah, so we never know. But Cho So Jin was looking for her daughter till her last breath, which is so sad.
I had so much sympathy for her in the last few moments because especially the scene, when she went into the fountain, and she was like she had these eyes of pain but also worry, and
hmm
it was one of the few moments that you really sympathize with her.
Yeah, and it definitely doesn't make everything she did past in the wrong. Like it doesn't make it right, but like she seems so vulnerable.
Hmm.
It was so sad to watch. Um, and then let's see, we also have Jidante
Hey.
trying to escape for like probably the second time that we've seen.
Yes.
So Jidante seems to be trying to escape from the mental institution. Um, and I think he might actually be successful because we see here that he's out.
Hmm.
Like I know this is half of his face, but I'm pretty sure it's Jidante.
Hmm.
And he's outside. No one would let him go. So he must have escaped, and he seems like he has a purpose and is determined.
To go back to South Korea.
hmm
Yes.
So we definitely will be seeing Jidante in the next episode. We also see the scene of Shim Soran walking past these guys, and I don't know. What do you think she has to do with these loan sharks?
Ooh. Well, for one, if we're gonna assume that I think we can confirm Cho Soo-jin is dead.
Mhm,
And all that debt, I think, will have to go to her daughter.
mhm.
So it might be that Cho Soo-jin is paying off the debt, so Real won't have to pay for it. Because
Shim Soo-ran's playing with it.
yes,
Hmm.
just because they made that clear that the kids wouldn't suffer.
Ah, maybe that could be quite likely.
But it was also a very suspicious encounter. I
Yeah,
mean, they kind of both looked at each other with, a little bit of
yeah,
suspicious eyes. So,
hmm. Maybe the whole thing about Jidante that much debt or from them, maybe it was all planned, like by
mm,
Shin Soo-ran, because the loan sharks did appear right after Logan Lee and Shin Soo-ran walked in
mhm,
after Chol Soo-jin. That was kind of suspicious. Like, how do they know exactly where she was that
mm,
quickly? So maybe Shin Soo-ran paid them to scare Chol Soo-jin,
mm.
and maybe it was just like a final transaction she paid
The crazy
for
thing
their
is,
acting.
we've never actually seen Judante get money from the loan sharks.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they set up the whole thing up. Maybe he didn't even have debt at all.
Because he always went to that one woman
Hmm.
because no one else, like the banks, would not give him debt
Yeah,
due to like the stocks, like how much it fell.
yeah.
Or maybe. And then we see a wedding. So we see that there's preparations for a wedding, and we find out it is Logan Lee and Shin Soo-ran's wedding. So I think this is a real wedding. I mean, they both seem very happy, and I think that they finally have finished their plans. I mean, Shidante is in Japan, or so they think. He's in the mental institution. This is probably after they find out Cho Soo-jin died. So it seems like they feel they closed everything up and it's time to start the new chapter. So I think they do decide to get married.
Well, I actually think this might be a setup. Maybe
Huh.
they heard Judante escaped and they planned this elaborate plan because I just find it strange. Maybe, I just think it's a little weird,
Mm-hmm.
but Minsola is the daughter of Shimsaran
Mm-hmm.
and the adoptive sister of Logan Lee. So why of all places are they having the wedding where Minsola died? The statue was right there.
Oh, you're right. That is kind of odd.
I mean, maybe they forgot, but
I
that
doubt they would forget that. Like that was one of their main motives.
mhm,
That is very odd.
that is so strange.
I think I think what you're saying is true. It's very odd, but I think they didn't take that into consideration.
Mhm,
I think they're actually getting married.
possibly.
I mean, it's very weird though if they are getting married in front of basically the grave
Yeah.
of her daughter and his
Hmm.
adoptive sister. Um, but
We'll see next week.
yeah, we will see. And then we also have the scene of what looks like Ju Dante's secretary.
Secretary Cho.
And he is carrying a briefcase and a bag. And we can assume there's money in the bag, probably to help Ju Dante get from Japan to Korea. And in the briefcase, we see there are bombs. So I think Gigante definitely has something big planned. It seems like he is going to bomb.
Either Hera Palace or the
Mhm.
wedding.
Yeah, for sure. I think it might be at the same time.
Hmm.
So maybe he has, like, his secretary is obviously out of prison somehow. So maybe he's been following Logan Lee Shin Sudan, heard about the wedding, and that is when they're going to make their move. And I mean, it seems quite plausible. It's easy. Everyone's going to be there. And I don't know.
There's some part of me that thinks he's not necessarily going to destroy Hera Palace as he's
Mm,
going to destroy Chenso 27 district because that is the one building that he's been after for so long. And I
mm.
think his main motive to go back to South Korea is to finish what he started. And that is to completely destroy that land that his mom and sister died on.
That could be true.
So
Yeah.
that might be his very last um, act of revenge against
Hmm.
against Jim Surround's family.
Maybe.
But
Yeah,
definitely something is getting bombed.
definitely.
Tragedy will occur.
Yeah, and we also see like Logan Lee. Something happened during the wedding for him to be running out to the police station what it looks like, or like a detective's office, with his wedding suit and everything. So maybe they were bombed during the wedding, and Shim Surdam probably got injured, or he was called to identify a suspect or something, or for security purposes. But yeah, it seemed like something definitely happened during the wedding in order for them to have to rush out and go to a different place. And honestly, I think one of the main reasons that I think it was bombed during their wedding was because Shim Surdam seemed injured, and it seems like she's wearing her wedding dress here.
I see.
So I think that's why. And in my opinion, this photo also kind of looks like a death scene. Like there's sometimes in movies or TV shows where they show a person who, before they're dying, it has like this glow behind them and it's white, and it's like them entering heaven, or like seeing all the people they love that they have died before. So this could be Shim Surdam's death scene also, because she was not with Logan while he was at the detectives or police office.
Yeah, but they were getting married, so they were at the same event.
Right. Yeah.
Possibly.
Or maybe she's at a hospital, but I quite possibly think she might die. And then we have this scene of Judante back at Hera Palace, back at the penthouse where he belongs. And he's wearing a white suit, so we can assume that he was probably at the wedding. And to be honest, it's kind of creepy how he looked like the groom, like he's dressed like Logan Lee in the white suit.
True. Of all things, why the white suit?
That's very strange. Yeah. But we can also see he has like a huge scar on his face. Probably it happened while he was trying to escape or, come back to Korea. But he seems satisfied with himself. He seems satisfied. He made it.
Yes. And I do also think that either Logan or Shim Surdam are finally going to find out about why Judante is this evil. Do you know how like they've given his backstory to the audience? So we've seen it, but the main protagonists haven't actually learned about his past. They just know him as Baek Joon-ki. They don't know why he switched to Judante and like what's his whole motive and why is he always after Chungsu District 27. I think the last few episodes are just gonna wrap that up in a nice little bow.
Yeah. And I just want to say really quickly, like I mean Judante is obviously a horrible man, but we thought that he killed the real Judante's parents just for money. And in episode 11, we can see that the real Judante's parents stole his money, him and Nagayo's money, and refused to give it to him. And they even bought a house with his money. And I mean, that is horrible. He first, he saw his mom and sister die in front of his eyes as a child. He had to grow up being a beggar. And the one time when he finally trusted someone, they backstabbed him and took all his money. So I can see where his anger came from. And it's horrible that he had to go through that. Like he even begged nicely, and like I think he just snapped. And ever since then, it wasn't
just even a small sum of money, right? He worked years to save up all of that.
Yeah, like since he was 10, they said right there.
I mean, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and their son is money hungry, so their parents were probably money hungry.
Yeah, the real Judante. That is true. Oh, but I can't wait to see. We have like maybe a few episodes left too, I think.
Yeah. The finale is episode 14.
Yeah, so close. So I can't wait to see what happens. Hopefully everything gets revealed. Hopefully not everyone dies. Like that would be sad to see everyone die. But thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed.
If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up.
If you have any predictions of your own, please feel free to write them in the comments down below. And if you like our videos and look forward to them, please subscribe. And thank you to everyone who has subscribed. We will be making a video next week for season 3, episode 13 predictions.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.